Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Faria. I'm a security sales engineer at Cisco, and this is video 7 of our mini series, How to Get Started with Cisco Secure Network Analytics. Now, in this video, we're going to be going over how to configure ETA or Encrypted Traffic Analytics on a Cisco CSR router. So we've already configured the CSR router on the last video. And so this is a continuation video where we are going to set up cryptographic compliance. So in case you have PCI data that needs to be encrypted, we are going to configure the NetFlow traffic to be encrypted. And then we're going to validate that it's been encrypted on the SNA console. Okay, let's get started. I've already Oh, I think my putty's inactive, so I'm going to go ahead and start a new SSH session with my CSR router. Okay, it's going to ask me to log in. There we go. Okay, so we're in the CSR terminal, and I'm going to go into my configure terminal. Okay. And it looks like I am in my configure terminal. So, okay. Let's go ahead and go to the next step. So ET Analytics. And as we did before, we have to go line by line and hit enter. Make sure it takes. So IP flow export, flow dash export, destination, and then the IP address, 1920. 135, and the port is 2055. Okay, that looks good. In active timeout, let's set that to 15 seconds. Okay. It's already been configured. Let's go interface, range, gig 123. Now I'm in the range. Okay. At analytics, enable. So I've enabled my ET analytics. Okay. And let's make sure we write. All right. Okay, everything looks good there. Now we can go into our Chrome tab and see how this, make sure that this can load. Just test a website. Okay, looks like that took. And let's see, what is my IP? And let's just also search for fireplace video. And let's just play this video to generate some quote data. Okay. And now I'm going to, let's open up a new browser. And I'm going to go to my manager, and we're going to see if we can find some of that data. Okay. And under let's all right. That's probably enough data generated. Let's cancel out of there and close this browser. We'll just go to our other browser. And let's go into the flow search parameters. So under monitor, under analyze flow search, there it is. Okay. So we want to make sure that we are analyzing data in the last flow. So for the time range, let's pick half hour. And let's select the subject IP address as 198.19.13.36. Make sure we hit enter on that so that it takes. And then under connection, let's try HTTPS. I didn't like that. HTTPS. Okay, here we go. HTTPS and HTTPS unclassified. Let's apply both of those. Okay. And that's it. Let's go ahead and hit search and see if we can find that flow. So good sign. There's a lot of logs that have come up. And sometimes isn't exactly what I want to see. So I can actually hit the toggle between this tag, and then I can also manage the columns here and make sure that I have under connection. I don't really care about the duration. I'm more interested in encryption. So TLS version key exchange on my encryption. I want to make sure that, okay. And let's go to my subject tab, and I want to make sure that I'm not really concerned about subject bytes, just subject host groups, subject protocols. And under my peer tab, I can also set, I don't really need to know what peer or peer hosts or peer protocols. Okay. Now that I can look at my list through the columns or the eyeglass that I want to look through. I can also hold on. I think I want to save this in case. How do I save my manage columns, restore result? Okay. I'm going to just export these logs so that I have a record of them. Okay. Now that I've done that, then I can clearly see. Let's look at some of this. My IT servers, my host group is IT. Okay, I can see the encryption mechanism. All right. Okay, now that I've done that and I've proven that the net flow and the encryption, that these packets are encrypted, and there's you know, the types of encryptions like my hash values and my my encryption keys are here, and I know that this flow is being encrypted from my router. I can move on to the next step. So, and just so we know that a lot of this flow is also being exported, and so we'll have the ability to look at this in the flow sensor as well, right? So there's the flow collector and the flow sensor both have this information available to us. All right, let's go into viewing and filtering the encrypted traffic. And so what we need to do is we need to go into the analyze, and we'll go under flow search. Okay. So what we're looking for is we're looking for TLS 1.0 or higher for compliancy purposes. So ideally TLS 1.2, and we want to make sure we're definitely not running TLS 1.0 in this network, right? And so we're going to go into flow search, analyze, and under search type should be flow. Let's set the range to the last 8 hours or so. And we want to, the name should be something like PCI compliance or PCI TLS 1.0 investigation. Okay. We want to return a maximum maybe 10,000 records. And now we can go into the subject and select the host groups. So we want inside groups to be selected. Let's hit apply. And for the connection type, we want to look at HTTPS. Okay. And HTTPS unclassified applications. And we want to go ahead and hit search. Okay. As that's searching and generating logs, it's going to take a little bit for 10,000 logs to complete. So we're at 77%. Let's just wait for that to get to 100 before we can continue. 100. Okay, great. So manage columns, we'll go back into here and we can see that it saved the flow columns for my last search, which is good. So we can start off there and make sure we have start. This time I do want to see the duration. I do want to see the application. I want all 5 encryption options. Under subject, I want to make sure I have subject host groups, subject IP address, and subject orientation. Excellent. And for peer tab, I want to make sure I have the peer host groups, the peer IP address, and the peer protocol, port and protocol. Let's set that. And now we can start to proceed by proper filtering. So we can try to find the encrypted TLS version. And now we can set that to maybe 1.0. We'll start with the 1.0. Okay, so we have a hit for 1.0, which is not necessarily good because we don't want any 1.0 TLS present here. Okay, let's see what we get when we hit 1.2. So I see a lot of 1.2 TLS requests. And as we did before, I'm going to go ahead and export this onto my desktop. I meant to export the 1.0 onto my desktop as well. Okay. All right. And finally, I'm going to go into the cryptographic audit app. So under dashboards, I want to see the cryptographic audit, right? And we want to make sure we set the start date to maybe yesterday. And the end dates, let's go to tomorrow. Okay, make sure both inside and subject host groups, both inside and out. And the orientation, we want it to say client. Okay. And I think we can, what am I missing? The type of audit. Oh, the peer groups. Of course, I want this to say inside and outside as well. Okay, let's hit search. And now it's going to query the results. Pretty quick report. And now I can see that in this report, I can see my TLS versions, the cipher suites that I've used, and more information about some of the cipher suites. Okay, now I want to download this CSV. So give that a few minutes to download. And I want to make sure I save this. Okay, so in this scenario, we have enabled encrypted traffic analytics on a Cisco CSR router, and we were able to ensure that PCI appliances were in place by encrypting the traffic from that router. And we were able to verify what kinds of encryption mechanisms are being used in the SNA console. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one. Thank you for watching the mini-series on Cisco Secure Analytics, How to Get Started. In this series, we were able to set up the devices, get devices communicating with one another, verify the DNS and the NTP settings. We were able to add an additional user into the central management. We configured host groups that um, are ultimately groups to IPs within the network. We were able to configure a Cisco router and able to send NetFlow information to our SNA console. And we also enabled encrypted traffic analytics on that flow. From here, we could continue this process and maybe start to configure custom security events or um, integrate other products such as ICE. But for now, this video series is now over. I appreciate you joining with me, and I hope you learned something. Thank you, and have a good one.